stuck with me tonight because all of the co-hosts are working at the hospital, have children's track meets, and the guides have no service. So you have to listen to me and Sarah Cloud, I'm gonna introduce here shortly in regards to Trout Fest and the Deschutes River Alliance. So first and foremost, just welcome to the first ever Oregon I Fish I Belong Fish and Hang event. Really, really excited to bring this format to Oregon and specifically to the Deschutes River. It's a really incredible river. And also to have it in line with the Trout Fest, which we'll talk about here shortly. Tonight, we're going to cover a lot, and kind of the idea that myself and all the co-hosts did while we were creating this presentation is to be able to help answer all of the questions that you all might have. And then at the end, we're going to open it up for a Q&A, really talk about the weekend, kind of how logistics are going to work. We're going to go over fishing and, leader setups, bugs, all of that kind of stuff as well. So we have 4 different co-hosts. Cece or Cecilia Brown, she's been on the United Women on the Fly team for the past 3 years. She lives in Bend, Oregon. Her partner is actually a guide on the Deschutes River, and she just did the trout opener and was very successful with some wild native red band trout. But Cece's one of our co-hosts. We have Crystal Ferris. So Crystal also lives in Bend, Oregon. She is a part of the Central Oregon Lady Anglers. And so you probably have seen some of her. She's been doing a great job in answering a lot of the Facebook questions. So you'll probably see her answering questions as well as get a meter in over the weekend. Myself, I'm Heather. I know most of you. I go by the pronouns she, her, hers, live in Spokane, Washington. I venture to the Deschutes River quite often, mostly I would say for steelhead though. I've only trout fished a couple of times on the Deschutes, and I'm really excited it's a beautiful river. I'm in love with wild native red band trout. So those that live in Spokane, those are the same fish that we have here in the Spokane River, and really incredible, just incredible fish to catch. Jenny O'Brien, a lot of y'all know Jenny. She is the founder of the Central Oregon Lady Anglers. She also lives in Bend, Oregon. She's been on the United Way on the Fly team for almost its inception. So just a really great friend and really great resource, just knowledge of resource. That didn't even make sense. A wealth of knowledge that she'll be able to share any of her resources and everything that she knows. Over the weekend, she's also a board member of the Deschutes River Alliance, which is the DRA who is putting on Trout Fest. So she's involved kind of with iFishiBelong, United Way on the Fly, as well as DRA. And, our goal with all of these different fish and hangs is for us to partner with different local groups, with different local businesses, organizations. And so Central Oregon Lady Anglers is a group of women who fish in Central Oregon, always doing different events, fly tying, looking and visiting all the different fly shops, and just a great resource for all people within Central Oregon. Deschutes Angler. So many of you know, or if you don't know Amy, you have to meet her. She's going to be teaching with me for the workshop, as well as her and her husband, John, they own a fly shop in Maupin, the Deschutes Angler. Deschutes Angler is one of our sponsors. And so look, if you're looking for extra gear, flies, tippet, that sort of thing, it's a great resource just right up the road from where we'll all be staying and where this whole event's taking place. As far as the I Fish I Belong fish and hang format, this event, it's basically taken from a United Way on the Fly format, or Spokane Women on the Fly, actually, where we used to do events on the Missouri River. And basically what we would say is, we're going to go to the Missouri River this weekend. You get a boat, get your own lodging, get your own guide, DIY fish, but we're all going to come together in the evenings and hang out. And so this format is kind of it's ever growing and ever evolving, but it's been around for the last 10 years for us. With I Fish I Belong specifically, one of one of many initiatives that we have is just being inclusive, and inclusivity also includes locations. So rather than just having all of these events happen in Montana, it's important for us to provide opportunities for these events to happen all over the United States and potentially in the world, all over the world in the future. So this year for our I Fish, I Belong fish and hang events, we have North Carolina, Oregon, West Yellowstone, Montana, and then New York. So next year, we'll probably have Montana and North Carolina again. We're looking at Austin, Texas, and possibly Durango, Colorado. So lots of great locations. Again, just trying to offer opportunities for all people all over the United States. Now, many of you all have come to us through Spokane Women on the Fly or a women's group or United Women on the Fly. And over the past, well, this has kind of been going on for the last 10 years, basically, but I finally bit the bullet and decided to start a nonprofit. And it's been a venture and a lot of work, but it's a reality now. So the nonprofit that was started is called iFishiBelong. We're officially a 501c3, which is pretty incredible. And, really how all this works is United Women on the Fly is still around. It's still going to advocate for women. It's just going to be a program of I Fish, I Belong. And, as we, all of the founding members of I Fish, I Belong, when we were working through this, most of us are come from United Women on the Fly or from other organizations. And the reality is that it is great to advocate and support for underrepresented groups, but at the end of the day, in order to truly make change, we have to do it together. And that's why I Fish, I Belong was formed, so we can still continue to advocate and work towards leadership opportunities and advocacy for equitable representation, but we need all people to make this change. So pretty exciting stuff. And I'm happy that you all are, it's really the inaugural year of I Fish, I Belong, and you're a part of it. So thank you so much. With our mission here with the Fish and Hangs, it's all about affordability. We understand and know that fly fishing is expensive and just to travel. And at the end of the day, we all can't go to these extravagant places to fish. And so our goal is to create a budget-friendly weekend or event where you can choose if you want a guide to DIY fish, camp in your car, get a hotel, whatever is within your budget. And that's what these specific events do, is bring people together regardless of socioeconomic status. All are welcome. So this is, and many of you have been to these events. They are gender inclusive. We welcome and we want everyone there. We want anyone who wants to support all people getting together, enjoying fishing, and bringing that community in. So we aim for a welcoming environment where diversity is celebrated. Everyone is a part of this, and we're excited to have you all here. We do have a Facebook group, so I know not everyone's into Facebook, but it's the easiest way to communicate. This Facebook group is, again, open to all. It is specific to the Oregon Fish and Hang event. So if you have not gotten into the group, but you are a part of you've registered, or you're thinking about joining and coming for the weekend, please join the group. This is a great way to ask questions, to meet people, make fishing, fishing arrangements, all of that. So please join that group. And really where the hang came from. So many of you know, or if you don't know who Rachel Finn is, I highly recommend that you research who she is. But Rachel Finn is a guide who lives in New York. She's actually going to be one of our co-hosts for the New York event. And her saying is it's all about the hang. And what that means is it's all about hanging out, developing friends, and the fishing. Sure, the fish are the cherry on top, but all of these individuals that have come together to be a part of a community, that's what it's truly about. So, and that's what we're going to continue to push for with all of these specific events. Now, as far as the location that we're at, so wherever we go, we always do a land acknowledgement, and we will the Deschutes River, and the Deschutes River does share land on the Confederate Tribes of Warm Springs. So we'll talk a little bit more about this, but there are certain areas that you have to get a native permit in order to fish certain waters and or hire a native guide. So we do have there is a woman native guide that we have recommended. We put her on the website. She's also on Facebook. So I don't know if she's joined. If not, I'll introduce her, just talk a little bit about her. But we're in a pretty incredible area. Okay, here's kind of that bird's eye view. So Maupin's in the middle of nowhere. So if you're basically not sure where everybody's coming from Spokane, it's about a five and a half hour drive. Portland, it's about a three and a half hour drive. Bend, it's about an hour and a half-ish, 2 hours. Well, we'll say 2 hours. So it's in a great location in the middle of nowhere. There are lots of airports. So the Portland, Oregon airport's about an hour and a half drive from Maupin, and then Redmond, Oregon airport is 2 hours. It's about 45 minutes from the Dalles. Now, a couple of things I'll say is you will have cell coverage when you are on the Deschutes, like in the Maupin area. But as you start to move out from the outlying areas, you may or may not have service. So just something to keep in mind when you're thinking about where you're going, or if you're going to be doing any Google Maps, make sure you have service. You look up the directions, click go, or start directions, so they'll still go while you're out of service. Most of the roads are paved. As you start to get down or head down river, the road will turn to gravel. So just being mindful. The other thing too is there are a lot of police officers around the area. So I would highly recommend not speeding so you do not get a ticket. And one more thing is Maupin is a remote city that is functioning and has a lot of people living in that area. So the reason I say that is be very mindful when you're purchasing your groceries. There is a grocery store. The Maupin City store is in Maupin, just right across from the Deschutes Angler. But please be mindful that this, again, is an area where locals live. So we don't want to deplete the grocery store. Please purchase all of your groceries in the Dalles, in Portland, in Bend. If you're coming from Spokane, you can go into Tri-Cities. There's Fred Meyer's, there's Walmart, there's a bunch of groceries, or just in the Spokane area. But we don't want to upset the locals, so be mindful. I mean, obviously, if you need stuff, but really making sure that we're being mindful of the community of Maupin as well. This year, some of our previous fish and hangs, they didn't include a registration. And now that we've done this for the last 10 years, it costs money to run a nonprofit and also to get permits and host these different events. So your minimal registration fee of $50 goes to all of that. It goes to paying for Zoom, for our website hosting, email, all the things that we use in order to help share the word about these specific events. So thank you all so much for contributing. You do get a lot of things with this registration, and I think one of the biggest things is going to be the registrant website. So there's two different websites for the Fish and Hang. The first one's just Fish and Hang Oregon, just kind of the general, how to register, all of that. So once you registered, you should have received a registration email that listed this Oregon Reserved website. It's a public website. And I will make sure I'll put the link in the chat, but it's also been in all of your emails. This website is great because it's going to list everything that's in the Q&A. But I think one of the biggest things that we've learned over the last decade of putting on these events is that people needed a little more research or resources, and they needed more maps. So I've created a Google map specific for every single event, Fish and Hang event location. So this one's for Oregon. Basically, it's on the registrant website on the top as well as the bottom of the page. And you click on this just white arrow, it'll expand it. It basically will show and give you links to all of our locations. So where Trout Fest is going to be, where our campground is, it'll show you where the grocery stores are. I also put in some of the most used and well-known access areas for the Deschutes River. So utilizing this is a great page. And again, it's in all your emails, and I'll make sure it's in the Facebook group, and I'll put it in the chat. Some of you have already selected your swag. Thank you so much. But included in your registration, you get a hat or a t-shirt. And we've created a bunch of really fun colors and new logos for our iFishiBelong stuff. We're just asking that you all select your swag by 5/15. So by May 15th in order to get it on time. And lots of new hats, lots of new t-shirts. We have some hooded sweatshirts that were requested. So your registration is a $25 value. So those sweatshirts are expensive to get with our cost. So basically, if you use your coupon code for a sweatshirt, it'll just take off $25. You're also within the registration is a Summer Trouts Fishing Techniques online course. And so this, I'm going to be teaching a live version on May 6th. If you're more than welcome to join, all of the information on how to access it is all listed in your emails. If you can't make that date, or if you want to watch it ahead of time or before then, there is a recorded version of that. It's a really great online course, just helping you kind of start to think about the different water types of summer trout fishing, different leader setups, fishing techniques, all of that kind of stuff. Really, really good course. And then finally, you get 20% off of a pro account for Trout Routes. So it's a really great app that you can use to help you also locate private, public water. They actually just joined forces with Onyx. So it's only going to get bigger and better. And they are offering 20% off. They're also a lead sponsor for all of the scholarships for Fish and Hang. So Trout Routes has been an incredible partner with us, with just Unite on the Fly, iFishiBelong, and we're very grateful that that they're there and a part of that. Checklist. So you all have a checklist. It was sent via email. I also believe I posted it in the Facebook group. This is just, again, we're trying to help you all, whatever we can do for you to feel like you're prepared for the weekend. So I'm going to open this up to Sarah now. I'm going to introduce her, but one of the main reasons, like, why did we select, the end of May, first part of June for this event? First, selfishly, I'll say I love mayflies and I love stoneflies. And this is a very famous time for the Deschutes River as far as salmon flies go, golden stones, yellow sallies. I'm sure many of you have heard about the famous salmon fly hatch on the Deschutes River. So that was a part of it. But I think more so it was because of Trout Fest. And I'm going to introduce Sarah. Sarah Cloud. And actually, Sarah, I'll have you introduce yourself and then talk a little bit about DRA, if you wouldn't mind, as well as Trout Fest, please.
Okay. Awesome. So I'm Sarah Cloud. I'm the executive director of the Deschutes River Alliance, and we are focused on protecting and preserving the lower Deschutes River. We started Trout Fest. The first year was last year, and we had around 200 people attend. Peter, I believe, is also on this call. He is one of our staff members who is kind of the lead on all of this. So if I misspeak about anything, I'm sure he'll chime in and correct me. So we started it last year, and one of the reasons we started Trout Fest was steelhead are kind of the dominant fish that people want to fish for. And a few years ago, because the steelhead runs aren't as strong as they should be, they closed the river to steelhead fishing. And the town of Maupin and surrounding areas really took a strong economic hit. It used to be a timber area and is morphed into being a tourist-based economy, with the lower Deschutes River being the heart of all of that. And so we wanted to have a festival to bring more people to the region, and also to celebrate the fact that it is an incredible trout fishery. You can fish for trout year round. They tend to be a little bigger, a little stronger, give a little bit more of a fight, because the Deschutes River is a pretty big river with a pretty fast current. So these fish just have to survive in that environment. So we started Trout Fest last year. We are so excited to be partnering with iFishiBelong. It just has us excited beyond belief. And I hear that around 57 women have registered, and that has us so excited to invite you all. So this year, we've actually already expanded it from last year. On Friday, we will have a Dutch oven cook-off, and everyone is welcome to participate. We ask that you register beforehand, and there's some rules. But around 5 o'clock, there'll be a tasting for you all can be the judges and do the tasting, and then we'll also have additional food and beer for purchase. We will have music that evening and just a grand old time. And then the following day, there will be casting instruction in the morning, which I know Heather will talk more about. And then a great lineup of, I think we have 10 seminars scheduled throughout the day on various different topics from Rick Hafley, who is a bug expert. We'll talk about bugs, to how to pick a fly rod and different casting techniques. And then we'll, throughout the day, have a casting competition. At the end of the seminars, the winners of the casting competition, or the leads, will be part of the casting, will be brought in for the final casting competition, where the pros will also join in too. And then we'll kick off more music and more fun for the evening. We have local restaurants that come and serve the food. We try to keep everything as local as possible. The beer will be provided by Freem out of Hood River and Freebridge in the Dalles. And it's just a really great time. And then Sunday, we'll drag ourselves out of bed and be there at 10 a.m. to do a little river cleanup. So, but I know Jen Butts is on this call. She's in Portland, and she came last year, and she can attest to the fact that it's very informative, great community, and just a really good time. And you get some time with the reps and experts in the field that are more than happy to help you work on your casting or whatever you need to become a better angler. So
Yeah,
in a nutshell.
it's going to be incredible. And you all actually will get to meet my husband. He'll be there. So he does exist. But, and for me, Trout Fest, and even for Eric, my husband, it was such a great event last year. And I think a big part of it was there were children. It was a younger demographic that were there. Everybody it was so cool. And the music was great. And it's a no-brainer for iFishiBelong and DRA to partner with each other. And, selfishly, I don't have to plan anything. Like Sarah and Peter are doing it all. So it's going to be great. You're going to learn from some of the best in the industry. If you've ever read the book, like Western Hatches, or if you've read some of the different entomology books that Liz and I, if you all know Liz, we nerd out and geek out on and all these bugs, that's Rick. And Rick's a DRA board member, and you're going to learn about all these bugs from the best of the best. Like, it's such a great opportunity. Trout Fest is free, so you just show up. The Oasis, anybody that's staying, it's at the Oasis campground, but it's all within walking distance. The road can be a little busy, so you can drive and park. But people that are staying at the Imperial, if you're staying at a hotel, or if you're camping with us at Maupin City Park, it's like a 2-minute drive, basically, maybe a 10-minute walk. Very, very, very close. So you can come in and out, and all of these events are just open. You choose if you want to participate and be a part of it. And if not, you want to fish, that's awesome too. So lots and lots of stuff happening. I will say that the one thing, if you want to do some Dutch oven cooking, I think I have 4 Dutch ovens in my upstairs. So I know people are flying in, or you don't own one, but you want to try it out. I'll bring them. So if you want to cook, you let me know, and I'll bring the stuff. And it'll just be a really fun evening. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and it is free. You don't have to
Yep.
register for anything. You just show up to the seminars. You will need to register for the casting competition and for the Dutch oven cook-off, but
Yeah.
everything else, you just show up, and you're free to do what you'd like to do.
Yeah, it's going to be an incredible, and just it's been so great getting to know Sarah. Has gone to our Montana Fish and Hang, so she gets the whole premise and idea behind everything. So I know some of you all have already met Sarah, and Peter is great too. So just really lucky to just be joining forces and being a part of it. So and here's the overall like whole weekend. There's a lot happening. And this is inclusion to everything that Sarah just said. This whole itinerary is on the website, on the registrant website. I did just put it on in the chat. And so this is already there. It'll also go out again in an email. The one thing, there's two new things with this fish and hangs. One of the things that we really wanted to do was provide a social fishing time. And so myself, I've been working really hard to try to reach out and get a permit with BLM. So even though we're not charging to go out and do a social fish, because we're on public land with a group, we have to have a permit. So I've reached out, spoken with BLM. We're in the process. We've gotten that. So as far as Friday, Friday morning, those that want to, we're gonna do a social fish. And I'll talk just a little bit more about that or right now. So basically, as far as the social fish goes, is do know that we have a lot of people registered. So if you're coming to the social fishing morning, this isn't going to be an intimate, you have the whole river to yourself. You're going to be probably fishing with, it's going to be hanging out and fishing. I just want you all to know that it's not this intimate, moment where you don't see another angler on the water. But the plan is to meet at the Maupin City Park Community Center. So it's right there at the campground, 9 a.m. And basically what we'll do is we'll carpool. You have to have a current Oregon fishing license. So something that's pretty cool this same weekend is it's free to fish in Oregon on Saturday and Sunday, June 1st and June 2nd. But if you are fishing on May 31st on Friday, you have to have a license. So again, all those links and everything is on the website. Each angler is responsible for their own gear, their own tackle, boots, waders. A wading staff is highly recommended. The Deschutes River is slippery and big boulders, sunscreen, all of that stuff. Another opportunity that's pretty incredible is a donation-based casting lesson. So Trout Fest is going to start, I believe, at 11:30, or the first presentation will start around that time. In the morning, though, we're going to be opening it up to basically a casting lesson, and beginner casting lesson that'll be open up to 8 individual people, as well as an intermediate and advanced lesson. These lessons are going to be taught from some of the best in the world. You may have heard the names Tom Larimer, Tim Rajeff, Eric Neufeld, Marianne Dozer. These are going to be your instructors. So we're pretty excited to be given this opportunity. We are limiting the class. It's donation based. So all of the donations are going to be split equally between DRA as well as iFishiBelong. All of the casting instructors are donating their time for this cause and the mission. So there'll be a beginner casting lesson. That'll be from 9 to 10. This will go live tomorrow. I will put the link out. We'll say it's going to go live at 8 a.m. We'll just say that Pacific time. So it's a first come, first serve basis. We're not putting it out to the public. First dibs is going to be on those who have registered for the fish and hang. For our beginning casting lessons, we do have some requirements for both. So the first is we ask that those that are taking that beginning lesson know how to set up their own fly rod, as well as have some casting experience. As far as the intermediate advanced, this is an advanced intermediate class. So we ask that participants, you must have a good understanding of the fly casting fundamentals and the ability to adjust your stroke and arc to modify your loop according to those fishing needs. If you don't know what I just said, then you should be in the beginner class. So I just want to make sure that, because all too often there's always so many beginner stuff that's offered, and there's never stuff that's offered to an intermediate advanced. And so we're really making sure that you meet the requirements. So we really want to make sure of that. And again, that'll go live tomorrow. Sunday river cleanup, we're just trying to do good and give back. We're going to meet at the Oasis Campground. It's also the Trout Fest location, 10 a.m. And then gloves and garbage bags will be provided. Basically, we're going to do like the DRA area of the road as well as some of the river. It's not going to be too long, but just, a great way to give back. We decided 10 a.m. because we know that there's a band and beverages on Saturday night. So that way you can sleep in a little. Again, this is all optional, but just if you come, that'd be great. We're working on potential coffee from a local coffee area out of Portland, and then a local bakery. So we're working on all that. More details to come. As far as resources go, there's tons of resources out there. So this is all listed on the website. There's all of these different links. So, with these events, it is a DIY event. So we're helping provide links to those resources. We've done some of that work for you, but it's really up to you to really get out whatever you want out of this specific event. Event locations. So our fish and hang, the hang on Thursday night is going to be at the group campsite number 2 at Maupin City Park. For those of you that are coming in a little early, or maybe those of you that are taking that workshop on Thursday morning. On Friday and Saturday night, we're going to be meeting at the Trout Fest location, and that's the Oasis Riverview Campground. Again, all of that's going to be, there'll be the map, and it's listed on the Google Maps as well. Now, BLM has done a phenomenal job as far as all of the river maps and access. So all of these links, again, are listed on the website, but just starting to look at all of the different maps and areas. If you're camping for check-in, Maupin City Park, you can check in at 2:30 p.m., just so you know. Oasis, I'm not sure where the other, usually it's 3 to 4 based on the hotels. To get your swag, you'll get a bag, you'll get your hat or your t-shirt, whatever you selected, or if you paid for additional hooded sweatshirts. Mary Pat, I got you, girl. So we'll have that it'll be on Thursday night at the hang, Friday, Saturday, we'll have basically in the evenings, and we'll be able to hand you all of your stuff. So meals, you're on your own. There will be that Dutch oven sample testing on Friday night. There are a few restaurants in the area, and Saturday there is food and beverages to purchase. So just know that. And then again, being mindful of the grocery stores in the local area. Those that made it in, awesome for you. The Fishing Deschutes River workshop, that'll be taught by myself and Amy Hazel, who's been a long time resident of Maupin, Oregon, as well as guide on the Deschutes. So we're teaching the Deschutes River workshop. So the workshop's actually going to be held at the community building at Maupin City Park. It starts at 10 a.m., but we just ask that people arrive at 9:45 to sign in and do your, sign a waiver. Dress appropriately for the weather. Last year it was pretty hot, so sunscreen, sun shirts, that kind of thing. Sunglasses or glasses are required when we're practicing our casting, so make sure you have those. Definitely bring some water and snacks. We're going to be doing our casting and just kind of all in that local area. Bring a 5-weight or a 6-weight if you want to use your own rod when we're doing all of the different casting techniques. I'll also have a bunch of extra stuff too if you want to use that. As mentioned, DIY fishing, right? So this is all on your own. So it's your responsibility to connect with other anglers or to start to look at all of these different links and really start to come up with a plan. All of these links are listed on the website. And, the Deschutes River, it's a pretty long river, very large river. It's really broken up into 3 different sections. Maupin and the area that we're going to be fishing is considered the lower Deschutes River. So with the lower Deschutes River, the BLM actually divides the lower Deschutes into 4 sections. Now, I thought that it's important for us, specifically for DIY fishing. I think it's good for you all too, to kind of get a feel for and an idea. As far as section number 1, that's going to be Warm Springs. So that is up kind of near the Warm Springs Reservation. And then it's going to come down all the way to the locked gate. So it's about 40 miles of stretch for the river. That's like the section one. Now there is some fishing that you can fish like Mecca Flat. You can fish around Warm Springs boat launch. It's a pretty long drive from Maupin. It might be an hour, maybe a little bit longer, but if you're trying to get away from some of the crowds of Maupin, section one might be where you want to go. Now, if you are fishing, if you're bringing a boat or if you're fishing with a guide, you are not allowed to fish from the boat in the water. So you have to park the boat, get out of the boat, and fish from the shore. Now, the reason why a boat is a great tool is because there's a lot of islands, and a lot of those islands are less fish from the road anglers. So, parking, fishing those specific areas. Now, if you're looking for stretches and like floats and all of that, again, BLM has there's all of that information's out there. Literally just type in, stretches of the lower Deschutes River floats, and they'll give you boat launches and all of that. As far as section two, this is going to be where most of us are probably going to be fishing. This is about a 15-mile stretch. I probably more than likely for our social fish, we're going to be at Harpham Flat. It's a large area. It's a campground. It can be pretty busy. There's a boat takeout. But it's an area that it can house a lot of people once we're there for parking, and we'll carpool and whatnot. But Nina to Harpham, it's easier walk and wade water. So basically the river is flowing north. Right? Yeah. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it seems weird, but it's flowing north into the chutes flows into the Columbia River. So Nina is going to be upriver of Harpham Flats. So basically this area is a great, easier walk and wade. Now Harpham to Maupin area, that's a little bit harder walk and wade, a little more varsity. So and what I mean by varsity is for any time that you're on the Deschutes River, find a stick and or bring a wading staff. This river has big boulders. It can be fast in some areas, but also there's some drop offs. Like it's safer to have a wading staff with you. For those that have fished the Spokane River, very similar slippery. It's a very similar river to the Spokane. Deschutes can be comparable to that. Now, section three goes down to Shears Falls. Now, Shears Falls is really, really cool. And I would suggest if you've never been in this area to drive down and check it out. So it's a 15 vertical foot drop, very popular spot for Native Americans to practice their dip netting for salmon and steelhead at the falls. Really cool, just historic area, just beautiful. Now, as you start to go downriver, this is where, as I mentioned, the road will turn paved to gravel. Now, again, remember cell coverage can be spotty down there. So just so you know, but you'll have it in Maupin. But Pine Tree to Beaverdale, it's not great road water. This is where you're thinking bow and arrow casting. You're thinking a lot of this varsity wading, lots of coverage, right? As we know with salmon flies, those fish start to hone in on these salmon flies, the golden stones, the yellow sallies. Those nymphs are starting to crawl up onto the shore. So those fish are starting to move over to the edges. So we know that, and we know that we want to fish those edges. So under the coverage can be really good. So this is where your tiny little roll cast, your bow and arrow casting will come into play. Now, if you go Beaver Tail to Max Canyon is the very last spot that you can park or drive to. And then it's a long stretch to the Columbia River that you can only access via boat. But Beaver Tail to Max Canyon, that's a great, good. It slows down, it flattens out. It's really, really good walk and wade road water. So there's a lot of options here for you all. From Maupin to Max Canyon, what do you say, Sarah? Is it like or Peter or anybody? I think it's a 45-minute drive, maybe hour, depends on the road. But it can be a bit of a drive from Maupin City down to Max, but definitely could be worth. Is it about an hour, Sarah? Ish?
Yeah.
City to Max can be upwards of an hour, 45 minutes
Yeah.
minimum.
Yeah. So know that, and again, if you're trying to get out from the crowds of the Maupin area, it's worthy of, going either up and or down. Now, I will say too, there is a closed gate. Now, the closed gate, it is, you can walk into that. You cannot drive into the closed gate, but be very mindful that you're not with Oregon, it is high water mark, but be mindful that you're not walking in people's backyards, and just being mindful as far as private property and public goes as well. Now, Trout Routes, if you have that app, it will show you what's private and what's public. So just another reason to download and utilize that app. Now, river safety and wading concerns. This photo was taken for photography purposes. Nobody was injured in this photo. But a waiting staff, again, everything, a waiting staff, or find a big stick that you can use. You can use a trekking pole, whatever it might be. Those rocks are slippery. It can be deep. There is poison oak, so be mindful of that. Leaves of 3, leave them be. You're in rattlesnake territory, so being mindful. If you have dogs, you're bringing your dogs with you. Again, using your waiting staff as you're walking down a trail or whatever. Just know that it is rattlesnake area. And ticks might be there too. So just being mindful of that. If you need to borrow equipment, so I have a kind of a gear locker of boots and waders, as well as rods and reels. So if you need to borrow any equipment, I just ask that you fill out the form. The form is listed on the website. Fill it out by May 15th. I will connect with you. We'll figure out like a time for me to deliver all of that equipment to you in the Maupin area. And then we can figure out like if I'll pick it up, or if you'll bring it to me, and or you can ship it back if you want to fish and use it for the next week or whatever it might be. But just know that that's an option. Now, fishing license, again, it's free to fish. Thank you, Mary Pat, for sharing that information. Great, very grateful. June 1st and June 2nd, but if you're going to be fishing any other times, Friday, Thursday, whatever, you are going to need a fishing license. You do not need really any special permits, other than if you are fishing the tribal area, the Warm Springs Reservation, then you will need a tribal fishing permit. They do have options for veterans as well as pioneer senior licenses. So all of these links are listed on the website. You can just click on it and see if you qualify for any of that. It's also your responsibility as an angler to know and understand the regulations. So just, research that a little bit. And these regulations are there to protect the fishery. So just knowing those regulations is important. And I just see a question. Sharon says felt or studs. I use felt with studs. So if you have that, cool. Felt is legal in Oregon, so you can use felt. If you only have rubber or felt, if you only have rubber, that's okay. If that's all you got, that's what you got. But if you have both rubber and felt, I would always err on felt for sure. Just it's going to be better in that water. As far as fishing guide options, we have 2 women guides that were listed on our website. Alicia, who she's with Little Leaf Guide. She's out of Warm Springs. You would need a native tribal permit to fish with her, but she has some incredible, really untouched water. So she'll be guiding the salmon fly hatch in the Warm Springs Reservation side of the Deschutes River. Last I heard, she was still available. Now that was about a month ago, so you'll have to check with her. Also, Mia Shepherd. Mia is a friend, and well, both of these women are friends. But Mia, I've done some fishing with her on the John Day River. She does trout as well as some steelhead stuff, and so does all of them do, both of them do. But Mia is a great resource as well. And do know that if you come back to these rivers, look these 2 guides up and hire them in the future. Mia also offers really cool opportunities to do like yoga and on paddle boards floating down a river for 3 days on the John Day. She also does bass float trips on the John Day. So other opportunities too with both of these guides. There's also so many guides on the Deschutes River. So if you go to the Deschutes Angler website, you can click on the link for guides. We have it listed on our website too. You can see, I'm sure a lot of guides are going to be booked, but also not only just Deschutes Angler, but look at Fin and Fire, look at the Fly Fisher's Place, look at Fly and Field. All of these are out of Bend and Sisters, Oregon. They also guide the Deschutes as well. So there's options to find some guides. And then here's the two amazing women guides that we that are listed on the website. For fish species, we're looking at wild red band native trout. So this is what our focus is going to be. Equipment wise, 5 or 6 weight single hand rods. If you want to use a trout spey, that's awesome. These fish will take swung flies. Really like a 2 to a 4 weight trout spey if that's what you have. Floating lines were great. Leaders, anywhere from a 2 to a 5X leader, 9-foot. Tippet spools, we'll say 3 to 6X tippet. Probably not, probably more 3 to 5X, but if you have a really selective trout, you may need to go down to 6X, and that's going to challenge you as far as your landing skills goes. Clothing, waders are definitely recommended. You are in rattlesnake country, so there's that. But also the river can be cold and deep at times. And do not forget a rain jacket. You never know if it might rain, sunglasses, sun protection, all of that. As far as like the Deschutes River hatch chart, there's a lot happening in June, as you can see. Really, the main focus is going to be stoneflies. So we're looking at the latter part of the salmon fly hatch. We're looking at the yellow or golden stones as well as yellow sallies. There will be some PMDs, potentially, hopefully, fingers crossed, green drakes, and there's always caddis. So there are a lot of options to fish on top water, subsurface, streamers, trout spey, all of that. A whole bunch of different fly suggestions. I'm not going to read every single one of these off. They're all listed on the website. Just know that just having some various patterns. I will say the Larimer Yellow Sally was designed for this specific river. Tom Larimer is going to be one of the casting instructors. Also, he's on the board for DRA. It's one of my top 5 go-to Pacific Northwest Western water flies. PMDs, yellow sallies, caddis, that sort of thing. All different fishing techniques, as I mentioned. And when we're thinking about leader examples, so if you want to just fish a single dry fly, specifically if you're doing bow and arrow casting or trying to get under some of these different, the shrubs and all of the vegetation, kind of think 7.5 to 15 feet based on, whatever's happening. 3 to 5X leader, just make sure that you have enough material to be able to transfer that energy and turn over whatever size fly you're fishing. A dry dropper leader setup. This is very, very common, like this Henry Fork stone. So for those that have fished in Western United States or fished in Northern Idaho, I know many of us are from Spokane. We're basically fishing the exact same way that we would the Spokane River and or some of our North Idaho rivers. This again, Larimer's, or not Larimer's, this Lawson's Henry Fork stone. Again, that's in my top 5. It's a great fly because it can mimic a lot of things, a grasshopper, stonefly, golden stones. It comes in all different sizes, but it's foam. That foam really allows it to float. So if you're going to throw a long, Pat's rubber leg or heavy nymph underneath, it'll be able to keep that fly in the right section of the water column. Now, one thing I would say is on the Deschutes is based on the water depth. And as we know, this will change in every run or every section of water that we go and fish. Don't be shy of fishing a long dropper, like a 4-foot dropper. Don't be shy of that. Like if the water's deep enough to do that, then I would definitely try that. Also very successful in the Spokane. Again, we're fishing for the same species of trout. Different ways to set up a subsurface leader. You can use weight. You can have a heavier, jig head nymph with a bead and then off of the hook bend, and or you can do a tag end. And for all of you that are taking the workshop, we're going to go into great detail about all of this. These are just ways to set up these specific leaders. Again, I will be sharing this presentation, so, or you can take a picture of this, to have on your phone, but just suggestions. This is with the dropper fly on the hook bend. And then here, this is a pretty common way of doing it with the tag end. All you do is just tie on a double surgeon and or a blood knot with the tag, tie on your fly. You always want to just ask yourself, and this is what really with any fishery, where in the water column am I trying to fish these insects or these flies? At what stage are these insects at the current moment in order for where are those fish going to be? Are they going to be on the bottom, in the middle, because they see that hatch or those insects are trying to emerge? Is it top water because it's adult dry fly fishing? So always ask yourself, where in the water column should I be fishing? And that'll base whatever leader setup you set up. Euro is pretty popular. We could spend hours on Euro fishing, and we're going to cover this a little bit in the workshop for the Fishing the Deschutes River, but these are just some basic examples of a Euro rig. Sometimes a Euro leader can be anywhere from like 12 to 30 feet. It's not really a cast, it's more of just a lob, or you're just getting it out there. You're not doing, a pickup lay down and trying to do these nice tight loops with a 30-foot leader. You can do a Euro leader on a shorter tapered leader. And so this is way you could do a 0x 9-foot leader. You can add cider and then add tippet. Some people will choose to use tippet rings versus using a double surgeon and or a blood knot. And the reason for that is because it's easier. You just tie on a clinch knot with your tippet rings and you're already trying to go subsurface. So any minute amount of weight that is on those tippet rings, it's not going to matter. It's just easier to re-rig with tippet rings. As far as like trout space stuff, again, I could go into great detail about all of this. I'm not going to. This is something that we can talk about. You're going to learn. I actually am teaching a presentation at Trout Fest on how to choose and kind of how to understand trout, or I'm sorry, spay lines, heads, backing, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm teaching that at Trout Fest. But a basic setup, you can do a dry line, you can do tips. So if you want to do a Skagit head, if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. Reach out to me when we're together in Oregon, and I can talk your ear off all night long about spay fishing. But for those of you that know how to do this, or if you have trout spay, it's super successful. Another way too is if you just have a single hand rod and just a 9-foot 3x leader, throw on a little soft tackle or a little, woolly bugger or whatever it might be, and just cast it downstream at a 45-degree angle and swing it through too. So you can still do this technique on a single hand rod as well. So you don't need a trout spay rod. We're almost done and then we'll open it up to questions. But as far as like conservation considerations, you all are familiar with me by now. You know that I'm a huge advocate of Keep Fish Wet. Those that don't know what Keep Fish Wet is, it's a science-based organization, nonprofit, that's always continually evolving and doing research on best catch and release practices for fish. So a few little tips that we've learned with all of this data and all this science-based information is just wet bare hands are best. Some of us fish with sun gloves or something else. Just if you're fishing with sun gloves, you want to get a good photo of your fish, just take off your gloves, put them back on, pretty easy. As far as minimizing air exposure, so research has shown 10 seconds or less. So what that means is that you can lift your fish out of to take a photo, put it in. It's better. It looks better if they're closer to the water, but this 10 seconds is a cumulative. So if you lift, put up, lift, put down, again, thinking 10 seconds. So with that in mind, having your photographer ready, if you're by yourself, really cool shots or just your hand, don't like the selfies of yourself. I personally feel like it's more beautiful to have your hand in the photo with the fish swimming away. Use video If you shoot in 4K, you can grab a quick screenshot. It'll look great for as far as photos go. Holding the net under the fish. And so, because fish are slippery. So if you're netting your friend's fish, they'll greatly thank you if their fish lands in the net versus in the water where they didn't get a photo. Leaning down just looks better, less awkward as far as photos go. And don't be afraid to think outside the box. I mean, red band trout are so beautiful. So, the gorgeous red lateral lines, scales, eyeballs, under the water, tails, your friends eating bananas, casting, all the things. So, I'll be around, if you're fishing with me specifically in the social fish day, there'll be lots of photos of you. I'm sorry, but not sorry. So it's just what I do. And before we just open it up to Q&A, this event in conjunction with iFishiBelong, Deschutes River Alliance, United Way on the Fly, Central Oregon Lady Anglers, we're here to just create this unforgettable weekend. So we've done so much work behind the scenes to provide all of these resources, this information, just in one specific, registrant website. So that way you have one area that you can go back and not feel overwhelmed by coming to a new area, fishing a new river. We're here for you. So utilize the Facebook group, utilize myself. I'll put my phone number in the group as well as emails. Email me. But I would say your first line of questioning is just ask the group. We have great co-hosts that'll help answer questions. Those that have fished the area might also know the answers. I'll also be checking it. And yeah, I'm going to open it up for any questions. And Sarah and Peter, do you have anything else that I don't know if y'all are still on? Yeah. Do you anything else? Yeah, that we can add or anything about the river or Trout Fest or anything that I missed?
No, I think it's been pretty comprehensive. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. That was the goal, is we want to answer all the questions that you all might have. So you don't feel overwhelmed, because I know coming to a new river, it can be scary because you don't know the area, and or you might be a new angler and you're coming with people that are talking about Skagit heads and sink tips, and you're like, oh my gosh, I am way over my head. And we don't want you to feel that way. Like, we're all here. We're here to help you. And you're going to become more confident and competent on the water, after this weekend, with everything happening. So questions, what can I answer for everybody? Wow, I must have did my job. Yes. Erica, hi.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for putting this on. This is awesome and exciting.
Yes.
I'm wondering if there's any place like on the Facebook page or other places to talk about like possibly carpooling. Like I'm coming from the Portland area and would love to connect with people potentially. Yeah, just wondering if the Facebook page is a place for that or if
Absolutely. Yeah. Facebook page for carpooling. Also, if you want to share rooms, like I know, we do have 2 group campsites that opened up. So I think I announced that, but I'll make sure that I put it back in the Facebook group. But if you want to share an Airbnb or share lodging, and so just put everything in the Facebook group. And I just encourage you all to get out of your comfort zone and meet and fish with new strangers, new people, because those strangers will quickly become the bestest of friends that you're ever going to have and I'm looking at all these faces of everybody, and that's true for me. So Erica, I hope it's true for you as well. So
yeah, I'm coming on my own and I'm excited to make some fishing friends because I've
uh,
been wanting that for a couple years.
awesome. Awesome. And that's scary. It's scary to come as on your own and not knowing anyone or knowing one person. Or where are you staying at?
I'm gonna be in the city campground.
Perfect. Awesome. So,
Yeah,
well, we're taking it over. So
cool.
you're instantly gonna have like 60 new friends. Like, it's gonna be amazing.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Really, really. This is actually, Oregon has been the number one event location. So pretty excited about that.
Awesome.
Yeah. Cool. What other, I'm just seeing. There's, donation-based casting lessons for Saturday mornings. So I'm gonna open it up. I'll announce it in the Facebook group, and then I'll also send an email out to those that have registered for the Oregon event, because I want you all to get first come, don't foresee that we're gonna give it to the public, because I think that I hope you get to utilize that opportunity. If you aren't able to get in, let's say that you're too late, it's already filled up, do know that all of us are going to be at Trout Fest. So I'm going to be working the Sims and Winston and Echo booth. So if you want to go pick up, if you want to go test and cast an 8-weight rod or a 12-weight rod or an 11, 5 or 4-weight rod, I'm here for you. And my husband is as well as all of the other reps. So if you want a quick little casting lesson, I've got you. So if you can't, if you don't make it into that casting lesson, you're going to have opportunities throughout the day as well. And one thing I'll say is, it's a pretty great opportunity Sage is going to be there. Orvis, I believe, or is Orvis coming, Sarah? No, is Sage? Georgie, is Sage coming? Eric?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. So there'll be other rod manufacturers. So this is the time, go and test all the different 5 weights and see what you like. You might find that you like the less expensive rod way more than you like the more expensive rod. And that's great for our budgets, right? For our pocketbooks. So, but I'll be around and helping answer any questions and fitting, if you have women's clothing, I'm here, I'll be there. But, I don't know. What other questions? Oh, Penny, I see. How do we get space in the group site that just opened up? Is there a room for a 27-footer? So only group campsites, all of the RVs, I believe, are already taken. I know for us, for the fish and hang, what we reserved are taken, and I believe you'd have to call Maupin City Park, but I believe that the RV spots are taken. Sorry. But that's not to say that there's Harpum Flat. There are other campgrounds like BLM campgrounds up and down the river from Maupin City Park, from Maupin. So they're a first come, first serve. So you more than likely with all of them, there's got to be something that'll be open. Yeah. What other questions can I? Norm says I can't test expensive rods. Oh, that's pretty funny. Yeah, what other questions can I help answer that weren't answered in the chat? I'm just looking through here as well. You have me, so please ask away.
Hi, I'm over on the coast, Oregon coast.
Yeah.
And I can come. I have a relative that lives in Bend. So I'm obviously it's too late to register for the anything but the regular I can come for the Trout Fest.
Yeah.
So I just show up. I'm a person showing up with all my stuff for Trout Fest.
Yeah.
Y'all are just gonna be around, right?
We'll be around, yeah.
In the Maupin, because I've been to Maupin, I know the area, the small area. So it's just a big party, basically.
Yeah. You'll see us.
Where people fish.
Yeah, totally. So if you see a woman, say hello. Or if you see anybody, say hi. I did buy our co-hosts. We're going to have yellow lanyards that say iFishiBelong on them. So like a bright yellow lanyard. So you'll know the co-hosts. We'll be wearing them throughout the weekend. But just say hi. Yeah. You'll see us or just, it's, and if you, Bend, for those that don't know, it's about an 1.5-hour drive. So some people will just do a day trip, which is great. There still might be some lodging. And there's I believe 2 or 3 great Airbnbs. The Oasis might be an option for lodging, and also Imperial. And again, there's 2 group campsites, which is tent camping, or you can camp in your car, that we have. Those spaces just open for the Maupin City Park. But just show up. Yeah.
So everything that gets underway at 10 o'clock for Trout Fest? I took really good notes, but I didn't pay attention to that part.
Yeah, so the casting lesson is early in the morning, so from 9 to about 11:15. And Sarah, are you putting Rick at 11:30? Is that the goal?
Well, we have one before Rick at 11.
Oh,
So
perfect.
then they're
So-
half hours and then we'll have a break for lunch.
Perfect.
So-
So yeah,
Okay.
presentations will start at 11 a.m.
So how early do people get out on the river there? You can go as early as you want, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yep. Yeah. And part of the reason and the thought process with Trout Fest is to start it a little bit later this year is to allow people to get out on the water in the morning and then come, because all too often we know that fishing tends to be better in the mornings and the evenings, during those hours, specifically in June. So there tends to be like a lull or kind of a slower time. So that's when you come to Trout Fest and you learn and you get excited and meet. And then, so fishing in the morning and then come to Trout Fest.
Okay, thank you.
You're so welcome.
And
Sorry,
on the
Sarah.
Trout Fest website, we posted today a schedule of events and schedule of seminars. So, if the seminar you want to attend isn't until 2 o'clock, you can fish until 1:30 and then come and be at that. So
Yeah, totally. And I will tell you that the band is phenomenal, but to watch the casting competition with the pros is so fun. Like these are some of the best casters in the world, and to watch them, it's like, wow, I can't wait to look like them and be one of them. So it's a lot of good things to aspire to be. So Angie's asking, are the public access on the tribal side of river, or do you need a guide to fish tribal water? So there are specific areas, I believe, that you can walk and wade, but you need a tribal permit if you're on tribal land. So if you go to Warm Springs, and I'll make sure that the link is on the website, but it shows the different sections of the Warm Springs Reservation and where a tribal permit is required. But if you're on River Right or the public side of the road, then you can fish the public areas without a tribal permit. So basically, you have to make a significant effort to get onto the tribal land, basically, right? Is that a right statement, Sarah?
yeah, the people that accidentally do it are usually in a boat.
Yeah. So you'd have to drive you have to drive a ways and out of your way from Maupin to get onto tribal land. So it's very hard to do.
Yes.
So yeah. And then I see Amy asked the question. Amy asked the question about how do you know if you received, Amy, I don't believe you did choose. I just know that off the top of my head because I am a numbers person, but if you should have received a registration or like a confirmation by using your coupon code, if you don't remember going into Shopify and using a coupon code, then you probably haven't ordered your swag. That's what I'm going to say. You should have a confirmation email as well. Everybody who ordered swag, did you get a confirmation email from Shopify? Okay. Yeah. So, and Amy, I don't believe you did. Tammy, I don't think you did either. Or maybe you did. I don't remember. There's been a lot of orders. So you're
How many people registered?
we have 57 registered. So it's going to be incredible. And the beautiful thing about the Deschutes is that this river is big, so it can hold, because we're very obviously conservation minded. But it's a river that can hold that, we all can spread out and still have water. So it's gonna be a grand old time. I'm so excited. It's gonna be awesome. And those that like to country dance, get up there and do some 10-stepping and some swing dancing with me for sure. So and is it the same band, Sarah, on Friday night?
No, Friday night's a very similar band, but a different band. Yeah.
Awesome.
We had them for our anniversary party in August and they were a blast too. So it's going to be 2 nights of great music.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. I see that Deb asked a question about the license. I'm just looking at the website. Yes, it is listed. Basically everything I just talked about is thrown back up on the registrant website. So the link for your tribal permit as well as to get your Oregon permit is all there. And I will say, don't just use the registrant website as like your sole piece of information, right? Utilize Google, look stuff up, utilize the Facebook group, you know, that kind of stuff too. To if for some reason we don't have the answer or a link on the website, a quick little search should hopefully help provide or get that for you. So, what other questions? I think. So I tried using the code today for the swag. Hey, Deb, can you just, can you unmute and just walk me through?
Sorry, I'm eating.
That's
Um,
okay.
So I went in through first the link on Facebook that changed the date of ordering swag and tried it that way. And it said, nope, discount code does not work or can't apply this discount code. And then I went back to the original registration link, same thing, got the same response.
You can only, each email can only use a discount code once. So it might be that you already ordered something.
I haven't ordered anything yet.
Let
And
me-
then I saw that you had an opportunity if you're attending 2 or more fish and hangs, you have
Yeah.
a different code. So I did send you an email about that.
And that didn't work?
I haven't gotten the email back from you.
Oh, okay, okay,
It's
okay.
on your to-do list, I hope.
Okay. Well, I haven't looked at my emails. Well, not in the last like 3 hours. Okay, I'll send you the link. Is anyone else having any issues with that code or the links with the coupon code? Interesting. Okay. And you were using the 2024 Fish and Hang code.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. And it's not expired. Okay. Well, I'm not sure what happened. It should be, I mean, it's worked for like 200 people. So I don't know what happened.
It would be just me, of course.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I will definitely get you, I'll get you the link for the 2.
Okay, great.
And that's actually a $50 value, so you can get a hooded sweatshirt for that.
That's what I was going after.
Yeah. Oh, you know, and that might be it. No, I'm not
It
sure.
shouldn't.
I
Yeah.
don't know what happened, but I will look for your email and I'll send it out with the 2 discount codes.
Okay, great. And I have one more question. Did you
Yeah.
convince Eric to help out with the Thursday seminar?
No, I didn't.
What?
He's going fishing. I know. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know. I'm sorry. I know. He is one of the casting instructors though for the advanced and intermediate. So I got him to do that, but not
Okay.
unfortunately, like I'm choosing fishing. So I know. I'm gonna try the coupon code. I'm sending you the email right now.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thanks.
Any other questions from anybody? Awesome. We look forward to seeing you all, and the co-hosts that we have are truly incredible, and the women that are, you know, listed as guides, and Sarah and Peter and DRA and all of the board members. This is going to be a fun event. So, and again, all of this is just optional. If you want to do whatever event, go. If you want to fish all day and not do anything, that's cool too. It doesn't matter. You know, we're just happy that you're going to be here and be a part of this. And again, say hello to a stranger, because that person, you never know, might be your bestest fishing buddy of your forever life. So utilize the Facebook group and ask questions, send an email. If those codes don't work for some reason, please just let me know. I'll try to it's amazing as a nurse how much technology knowledge I've had over the last 10 years doing all of this now as far as websites and all that goes. So I'll try to figure it all out with you. Yeah. All right. Well, have a great evening. Thank you all again for being here. And you'll be getting your 1 month out email in a week. So we'll see y'all in like 5 weeks. Super excited. So have a great evening and we'll talk soon. Good
Thanks,
night.
Heather.
Yeah, good night.